Welcome to the Notary Educators with Kimmi Podcast. Hosts Kimmi and Jeff Nunnally, along with Alexis Franklin, share expert insights to help you launch and grow a successful mobile notary business no matter what state you are commissioned in. Learn how to become a top-notch loan signing agent and get answers to common notary questions. Explore our all-inclusive $47 monthly training library, plus live weekly online coaching sessions with courses on general notary work, wedding efficient services, remote online notary, ink fingerprinting, apostille, translation services, and I-9 completion. Notary Educators, LLC is your one-stop shop for notary training. Tune in to the Notary Educators with Kimmi podcast and subscribe to the Notary Educators with Kimmi's YouTube channel also for more tips. Take your notary business to new heights.
Educators with Kimmi. I'm your host, Kimmi Nunnally, #1 notary educator. What is up? What is up? Hey, people. So we're going to give YouTube a few minutes to do what it does. I want to say hi to those who will listen to the podcast and to those who will watch the replay. How are you doing today? What is going on? So I'm here to share a notary gem as usual. We're doing a little training today on the loan modification package. What is it? What role does a notary play? And I'm also going to tell you a little bit more about becoming a notary signing agent, loan signing agent, executive signing agent. You'll hear all these different titles. Lisa, hey honey, how are ya? I was telling Jeffrey, I said, I miss my people because I didn't do last week's session and I wasn't available to come this past week. I said, I miss everybody. How's it going out there? Welcome. So yes, today we're going to do a little training, just a little free training on what the loan modification is, kind of wet your whistle a little bit. Hi, Nyla. How are you? Where are you at, Nyla? I am well. It's going well. I am so excited for you, Lisa. I am. I know you are doing your thing out there. So proud of you. And everybody in the program, actually. I'll talk a little bit about the mentorship program later. What's up, Lori? How are you? What's going on in these notary streets? A lot of the mentees are checking in today. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So let's hop right into it. She says, hey, Lisa, notary fam. Yeah, they all rock together very well. I'm so pleased. We have such a beautiful mentor program. We really do. So let's get right into the topic though. Today's topic is, what is a loan modification? Have you heard of that before? If you want to be a notary, loan signing agent, or any of those titles that I said before, if you hear notary signing agent, loan signing agent, executive signing agent, they all mean the same thing, a notary that handles loan documents, okay? And part of the packages, or one of the packages you will see out there in that role, is a loan modification. So I want to give you some tips and tricks about the loan modification, go over it a little bit and tell you what's up, okay? Nyla says, I finally went to do the oath and reading your books. God willing, I will be joining your mentorship really soon. Yes, come on over. We love to have you. Lori W says, come and join, Nyla. Yes, anybody is welcome. Anybody's welcome. It doesn't matter where you are in your journey. The ladies here today just happen to be a little bit further along, but they can tell you that the plan works. If you work the plan, you work the program will work for you. Now, what is a loan modification? A loan modification is just that. It's modifying the original loan, okay? So for example, if your client originally bought their home for $200,000 and now they're behind on their payments, say behind, typically it happens, the loan modification really started happening during COVID. People became behind on their payments. And as a result, they would take some of those payments that they owe, like, so to say they were behind like $10,000 worth of payments. Well, the bank will say, hey, you know what? Instead of us just taking your property back from you, we're going to let you keep the house, but those payments will be due at the end of the loan. So whereas you owed April or January through October, you didn't pay, it's all good. You can stay there, but at the end of your loan, now you have to pay that $10,000 back. So it modifies the length of the loan. It often modifies also the amount of the payment. So for example, if your payment was originally $800 a month, now they have to tack on these payments at the end. It might go up to $1,000 per month. I'm just giving numbers. These are not exacts, okay? So that's what happens. It modifies the original loan agreement, the original mortgage, okay? Loan modifications are your easiest notary signing package you will come across. What is inside the package? Inside the package is typically 1 to 3 sets of documents. So it'll be typically 2 that they want signed and you send them back, and 1 you will give your client. So 1 plus 2 equals 3, okay? So either some signing companies have gotten a little creative. I won't use the word slick because they know the more we print, the more we want to charge as notaries. They'll say, well, hey, this package includes 40 documents. Within that 40 documents, they've already included 3 sets, okay? 2 for you to have signed and 1 for you to leave with the client. Versus back in the day, they would say print 3 sets of documents. So they've gotten a little more creative. So you see 40 pages, you're like, oh, that's not a big deal. I don't have to charge that much. But just know back in the day, that's not how it worked. It would say print 3 sets. And again, they know that we talking about as notaries how much it costs to print, et cetera, et cetera. So now they've gotten creative. And again, I'm not going to say the word slick, shiesty, or none of that. But they know the game too. So now they'll say print 1 set. And in training, I will always teach you to print 2 sets. But as I mentioned before, you always follow the instructions of your signing company. So I teach you what happens in the overall scheme of things. But what happens too is you have to follow the instructions of whoever hired you, okay? So let's get a couple more comments and then we'll come back to a little bit more about the loan modification package. How many pages is it? Let me tell you that. We already kind of talked about that. Typically it's 40 or less, but I'm going to do a little deeper dive into that. Nyla says, okay, we got that one. Nyla says, thanks so much, Lori and Notary fam. Okay, cool. So anyway, when you think about the loan modification package, how many notarizations are actually in the package? Typically, it's only 2 to 3. That's why I said it's one of the easiest packages that you will receive. Now, I'm not going to tell you to just go out there and start notarizing loan modification packages because it's easy. You still need to know why you're doing it. Who is the signer, okay? What are the expectations? Are witnesses required? Do your screening questions. If you've not been trained on all of this, don't try to go out there and wing it, okay? Who can be the witness? Can a family member be the witness? Okay? These are things that you have to know before you go out there and start doing these packages, all right? Now, what does a loan modification typically pay? Typically $40. I've been seeing them as low as $20. You can typically go as high as $75, depending on your area. It just depends. It's not a set rule. That's why when people say, well, tell me how much to charge. Tell me what it should be. I cannot tell you exactly because it's going to depend on where you're located. What time of day is it? How many signers? Is it commercial? Do you have to provide the witness? Do they have their own? How far do you have to travel? So all of those things are what I teach you in the pricing course, actually, to think about when you're pricing your services, when you're answering these calls from loan signing companies, okay? And I do a deep dive into all the different products that you will probably see in my new book, Become a Notary Signing Agent. And guess what, guys? It's not that complicated. So in the book, I go over the other packages. There are many packages that you will see, okay? You'll see a seller's package, a buyer's package. You will see applications, okay? That's also part of the loan signing agent duties. So there are many duties that loan signing agents will be responsible for. So check out my new book, Become a Notary Signing Agent. It's not that complicated. Now, in addition to the book, and this goes over the steps of what you need to do to become a notary signing agent. I'll tell you those right quick. You have to become a notary, first of all. You can't be a notary signing agent without becoming a notary. All right? You can't just bypass that step. That's important. So I go over that in the book. Do you need insurance? I saw somebody recently in our chat, and I was like, they're new. So I, of course, gave them a pass. But they made a statement, something to the effect of, it's not required in my state, but I think I'll get errors and omission. No, you must have errors and omission. I don't care if your state requires it or not. You don't drive a car, hopefully, without car insurance. Don't stamp nobody's paper without having insurance. If something goes wrong, and they need to be able to have some recourse, and you are going to be the problem. You're going to be the person that they're checking for if something goes wrong at that signing. So you have to have insurance. Errors of omission insurance. Okay, I talk about that in the book too. So everything you need to get started, you will find in this book, How to Become a Notary Signing Agent. Okay, it's not that complicated. Now, what questions can I answer for some of you today? What questions can I answer for you? And just so you can know, the Notary Signing Agent course is also part of our membership, okay? The mentorship program includes the Notary Signing Agent course. And then there's also a self-paced Notary Signing Agent course you can buy separately using coupon code WIN2025, okay? So do you have to go through the NNA to become a Notary Signing Agent? I'm going to always say yes. There are many people out there nowadays saying you don't have to. You don't have to get your member. You don't have to renew your certification with them. I'm going to always disagree with that because I like to have different options when it comes to how I receive my assignments, okay? I talk about that in the book, what's called being direct or working with signing companies, okay? I love working with signing companies because I don't have to work as hard for those jobs. They go out and get the work and just send it to me. Or I can say I'm accepted or not. But being direct means I'm going out there and get my hustle on, and I'm going to try to find these people myself. So I say, why not have multiple streams of income, okay? Why not? I'm going to have the stream where I do the work. I go get my own clients, and I'm going to also have this stream where I can sign up with these signing companies. And these signing companies will only work with you if you are NNA certified. So some people will say, well, Kimmi, do I need your course and an NNA? Most people, after they take our course, 99% are prepared for the NNA course, okay? So you don't have to take our course before the NNA, right? Because that's the gold standard. You have to get that certification, in my opinion, if you want to work with signing companies. If you don't want to work with signing companies, you don't have to go through the NNA. But those signing companies that are hiring you want to make sure you're background checked and NNA certified. In order to pass that test more rapidly, faster, yes, we recommend you take our training. And then a lot of people will take training over there and they still have to double back and do our training because the NNA training is just not as thorough as our real life experience. It's just facts, okay? It's just facts. They wrote the course. It's a nice course. I've taken the new course. It's changed. It's in the 6 modules now. Back in the day, it was like 45 questions. You go down the list, boom, 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 boom. But now it's like, nope, because people still don't know what they're doing when they get out there. So the NNA is like, we can't just co-sign on that. So now they have a more strenuous course. And that course is consistent of, like I said, about 6 parts. 6. And I like their course. I think it's done very well. But it's just missing that real life element. And that's what we provide at Notary Educators. Because we educate, okay? So I see we got a lot of people here. What questions do we have about becoming a notary? And again, you could always check out my book, Become a Notary Signing Agent, for more details, all right, on how to actually become a great notary signing agent. I go over some tips and tricks and things that can happen at the signing table. What supplies you need, a little bit of everything. So it's a really nice book. It comes in paperback and so you can check it out at your leisure. Okay, what other questions do we have? What's going on in these notary streets? What has Kimmi been up to? Kimmi has been working with our mentees. They are getting more and more assignments now. I had somebody yesterday. He had a rough patch there, but again, less than 60 days, 90 days. I mean, you want your business to just fly off the handle because you got your commission. You think, I'm ready. Now I got my commission. I'm a notary. Let's do this, right? But that's not how it works. You have to grow your business. You have to. Some ways you grow your business is having a tight Google My Business page. The first thing I ask people is your Google page set up? Nope. Nope. And nope. If your Google page is not set up, I can tell you one reason why you're not getting clients. Because they can't find you. Okay, number 2, are you messing up documents when you do get work? Are you messing up documents? I don't know why this printer is going off. I'm not hitting print. But anyway, are you messing up documents? That's another thing. I have a couple people in training, and it's like, we're here for you. Part of the mentorship program is when you receive an assignment, let us know so we can help you. I can't help you once you go out there and mess it up. Don't be afraid. Be open to receiving help. Okay? You can't just go wing it and then say, oh man, I messed that up. Because you're not going to get that many chances. Back in the day when I started, that whole 6 or 7 years ago, you could mess up a little bit and they would work with you. But nowadays, they got so many choices in notaries. We ain't having all that issue, okay? Looks like we have a question over the mentorship. I'm gonna look at it right quick. Good afternoon, all. Kimmi, I have a consent form notarization tomorrow. I looked up examples of the forms, just have an idea what might be looking at. From the numerous examples I saw, none of them had a notarial block. All I have is, oh, I hope that didn't mess up. Did that mess y'all up when I went to answer that question? Can somebody let me know in the chat, when I went to answer that question, did that throw you off over here? Because the question over there was, they have a consent form tomorrow, and it doesn't have any notarial wording on it. What should the process be? It froze. Oh, thank you, Lori. Oh, phooey. I was hoping I could read Suzanne's question and, over here, tell you what was going on, but I just did anyway. So thank you, Lori. So yeah, her question was, this is over in our chat, which is included in mentorship if you get stuck. Again, she has a travel consent form, does not have any notarization on it. So what is her process? Okay. And we go over that in training. I'm going to tell you here, you can notarize any piece of paper. Okay. I had someone send me like a love agreement yesterday. Basically, they're agreeing to love somebody. That's a whole nother story. Okay. It's a really interesting one, but I don't want to tell too much because it just happened. I will tell y'all about it though. And they wanted that notarized. So that's not a legal document. They think it is because I notarized it. But it added some validity to it. So if that person is happier and feels more content in their relationship because they got that piece of paper, okay. Fine. I see we have quite a few people here. What questions may I answer for you today about being a notary? What questions do we have? What questions do we have about becoming a notary or notary signing agent? Okay. And again, most of your questions will be able to be answered right here and become a notary signing agent. It's not that complicated. So you will find all kinds of things out there. This is another reason why I'm so big on our mentorship program. And people have said, well, Kimmi, I live in Florida. I live in California. I live in North Carolina. That's fine. We have people from all those states in our mentorship program. And why and how am I able to teach everyone, myself, Alexis, and Jeffrey? Because all of your documents are not going to originate in your state. They are going to be from all over the world, literally. When you start doing apostilles, okay? If you don't know what an apostille is, the short version is the document needs a higher level of authentication prior to leaving the United States before it can be used somewhere else. Okay? That's it. That's it. So that means your document may be coming from Jamaica. It may be coming from Brazil. It may be coming from Japan. Okay? Iraq, Iran. There are different processes depending on where the document came from and where the document is going to. That particular class also is included in mentorship, or you can buy it separately, the apostille course, and that is coupon code WIN 2025. Excuse me, WIN 2025. All righty. No questions? I can't believe we don't have any questions. I can't believe we don't have any questions. Don't be shy, people. Don't be shy. Closed mouths don't get fed. What can we help you with? Okay, here we go. Tammy says, how can I get info on the mentor program? This is my first time on this live. Hey, Tammy, welcome. Yeah, check out notaryeducatorsllc.com. Notaryeducatorsllc.com, and you will be able to get all the information you need. I'll tell you about the mentorship though. Included in the mentorship is 15 to 16 courses, and it's actually all the different services that you can offer in the notary business. And then you also have live weekly training. So last week we talked about the need for witnesses in your business. This week's session coming up on Friday night, I'm going to be doing a deep dive into how to add translation services. So every week there's a little bit of training, and then there's always open coaching at the end of it. Always. the days change. The schedule is out, and we're going to have a slight change for the month of April. As soon as I finish this live, I'm going to update that. The last session is supposed to be on a Sunday, but I have to change that to a Monday. But that session is going to be about, I think it's field inspection. Let me see right quick. Let me look. I think that session is field inspection. Yes, how to start adding field inspection. Yep. So we're going to do a deep dive into that. So there's an actual course on it. So what I want people to do is watch the course, and we're going to do a deep dive into how to make it happen. I'm very clear in everything that I do, but I find that the deep dives give people a chance to ask even more questions and for them to be comfortable, okay? So Notary Educators, LLC.com. And tell me again, welcome to Notary Educators Space, okay? And you have access to the replays. So if you're starting now, you really got a blessing because you get to go back and watch all the replays, everything that's ever happened. Prince Fabio says, hey, Kimmi. Hey, welcome. I just got my commission, and now I just need to be sworn in. Oh, congratulations. What state are you in, Prince Fabio? What state? And congratulations on your new career. Are you planning to make this a career? Are you planning to do part-time, full-time? What are you planning? And I had someone the other day in our mentorship chat. They asked, well, I work 9 to 5, so is that going to limit me? No, the only limitations you put on yourself. There are no limits to what you can do. The notaries sightings and notarizations are happening literally 24/7. 24/7. So it depends on what you want to do. If you work 9 to 5, then that might mean you can work 7 to 9 in the evenings or only on the weekends. You know, I don't believe in anybody working 24/7 killing themselves. If I got a full-time job, I'm going to work my notary business on the weekend. And that might just be all day Saturday. It might be all day Sunday. It depends on how much you want to grow. It could be Saturday and Sunday. Okay. So you have options. And that's the best thing about being your own business owner. Okay. And learn how to run your business efficiently and as a boss, because that gives you flexibility. You know, eventually you can run your full-time notary business in such a way you want to do part-time at your regular job and keep your benefits. You know what I'm saying? So there are no limits. And even when the question was asked, I was like, they must be new. And I knew she was kind of new. So I was very gentle. But I was thinking, if you've been watching me all of 5 minutes, you already know I don't do limitations. I don't. How do we turn a no into a yes? How can we make it happen? I'm like that in my business, my Notary Educators business, okay? Even with you guys, I'm not like no flat out no. I'm like, how can I help this person to get what they need to the best of my ability? Now, sometimes the answer is no. I mean, sometimes it is, but I'm always willing to try to see how can I make it work. And as a result of that, I have, like, for example, my journals. I just did these journals. I don't know if you saw them yet. This is my favorite, even though I'm not a big animal lover. But these notary journals come now in paperback and hardback. Hardback. So check out the journals. They're really cute. I have 10 different designs you can choose from. They're beautiful. I just love them. And they all come in paperback and hardback. And why? Why? Because one of my students said, hey, does that come in hardback? And my first response was like, no, it don't. But then I got to thinking, I was like, but why can't it? I just mailed your journal today, Mr. Eric. I gave him a journal. So, yeah, it comes in hardback, and I love this journal, okay? So, my point being is, you're only limited by what limits you set on yourself, okay? So, I'm not big on, I can't, it's not for me. Unless something is really not for you, but just because you're having a couple setbacks and it's not going the way you think it should, you just gonna quit? Nah, I wasn't raised like that. My dad, no, nothing beats a failure but a try. What is it? Nothing beats a failure but a try, or something like that. Something like that, he would say. Okay, and he'll be like, "Don't have no defeatist attitude." I'm like, "Oh, I can't." Now, I can't like mommy dearest. I can't. But it was like, no, really wasn't a thing that I ever heard a lot of. And again, it wasn't something that we kind of did in my family. It's like, let's do it. Let's get this thing done. So that's kind of how I roll. And I bring that over, not to be mean. And I try to be empathetic because everyone wasn't raised like that. Everyone didn't have someone to kind of cheer them on, like, you got this, you know? And at times my parents were, I was a sickly child. So at times my parents were always like, with me, well, that's too much for Kim. That's too much for me. Now my siblings can do whatever they want to do. Literally, whatever. But when I go to do something, it's like, oh, that's too much. You think you should do that? And I'm like, so that's what I attributed to, that I was a sickly child. I had seizures. I remember, because even now I don't like water thrown in my face. And I was sickly probably like 3, 4, 5 up to that age. And I can remember my parents putting me in cold tubs of water. And I don't like water in my face. I don't swim. I'm not afraid of cruises. Should be, probably. But I'm not. But I don't swim. And I don't like showers where it's right in my face, you know. Most people don't. But I don't like that kind of stuff. And I think it goes back to that. So all that to say that we're not just giving up. We're not going to say, because of my work schedule, I can't pursue my business. Because I have children, I can't. No, people do this all day, every day with kids. Yeah, I don't have any. Full transparency. But some of my students do. And I see what they go through to win in their business. They doing it. And that's what brings me even more joy, that we can be a part of the journey with them. I've seen them grow. I've seen them have those moments and those meltdowns. That's why I am there. I'm your number one cheerleader. We got this. We're going to get through this. Now, is it always pretty? No, it's not. Because sometimes I'm like, did you really just ask me that? Or they're like, come on, Kimmi, why you saying, but that's because I want them to win. They want to win. And when you're having growing pains, it's going to be hard. That's simple facts. But we're going to still be friends at the end of the day. So Prince Fabio says that they're in Texas. I would like to eventually go full time. Yes, and full time is completely an option. I've done the math. I've showed the math. And we can do the math right here. So I don't know what you make in your regular job. I'm just going to go for a regular person. Okay, I talked about this in the field inspection video I did recently. If you're not making $50 an hour, you need to be doing loan signing. You need to be doing field inspection. So some people frown and say $50. Well, when I first started, it was like $125. Okay, it was some good money. $150. I ain't gonna lie. Those were some good freaking days. Okay, when I first started. But that's just not what they're paying anymore. It's just not. Now, do I get some jobs? I got to check right now. I just cashed for $200. Okay. But normally, is that my pay for a job? No, it's not. It's not. But I'm okay with $75, $125, $50 for a loan modification. I'm okay with that. Why? Because I wasn't making $50 an hour at my other job. I worked at the hospital for 8 years. I was not making $50 an hour. Do you make $50 an hour? Just say you take a loan signing for $40 an hour. Do you make $40 an hour at your job right now? Let me know. And if you do 4 of those per week, 4 of those per day, okay? I got a calculator. Let's say we're going to go on the low end and say you do a $40 job. Let's say you do 4 $40 jobs per day, right? 4 times 40 is 160, okay? And I'm not even going to have you working on the weekends. I'm going to just have you working 5 days a week, even though I'm open 7 days, okay? The kid is open 7 days a week. Okay, so 160 times 4. Nope, 160 first times 5. So we got $160 a day times 5 days is $800, right? Times 4 weeks. Do you make $3,200 a month? Not to mention all of the tax benefits that you can receive from being your own business owner, okay? Not to mention all the things you can write off, okay? Not to mention that in my case, my health insurance dropped. We were paying $400 a month as a W-2 employee. Now I pay $102 for both of us, okay? All right. All right. So $3,200 a month. Do you make $3,200 a month? And then let's go back to this math again. That's $40 for 4 jobs, and each job take 30 minutes. Okay, so you got 30 minutes times 4. What's that, 2 hours? Do you make $160 in 2 hours? Let me know. Let me know. If you're making that kind of money, stay where you at. But if you're not making $40 an hour and you complaining about loan signs, oh, it's only paying $40 an hour. Do you make $40 an hour? It ain't even an hour. It's a half hour. It's a half hour. Matter of fact, most loan modifications, and Lisa and Lori can attest to this, are really 15 minutes. I'll give you 20, 30 with chit chat. Lisa, Lori, how long is a loan modification? How long? How long? Okay? So you can do whatever you want to do. We do what we want to do. And that's one thing I've learned, okay? Tammy says, thank you so much. I'm a signing agent, but haven't had my first signing yet. Why, Tammy? Why haven't you had your first signing? Do you even know what to do at a signing? Because I find a lot of people asking for signings, they don't even know how to do a loan signing. So do you know how to do a loan signing, Tammy? Let me know. Lisa says, sure, don't limit me. I'm all over. I got to make that schedule works for you. Yes, and that is my point. You make a schedule that works for you based around your circumstance. None of you can even compare your life to my life. You cannot. I live in Georgia. I'm my age. I'm Black. You may be white. You may live in California. We have different circumstances. You got 5 kids. I have 0 kids. You have no kids. You have no spouse. You got more time than I do. Because I still got to say, okay, what do Jeffrey need? What does Jeffrey want? If you don't have no spouse, you don't got no kids, let's do this. Even if you have children before. And it's easy for me to speak because I'm not a parent, okay? But the facts don't change, okay? I'm wearing a yellow flower, a yellow shirt that has some black and white. That is facts, right? I'm wearing pink lipstick. That is facts. The facts don't change. Some people think, well, oh, I have 3, 4 kids. I don't have a husband. I don't have a boyfriend. It's just me and these children. And they may not try to raise their children properly. That don't change the facts that when they get 18, 19, 20, if you don't raise them, whatever county you live in, they will raise them for you. Facts. If you don't raise your children, they will be raised by the state. Okay? You don't get a pass because you don't have a husband. You don't get a pass because you don't have a boyfriend. Those are your children, your responsibility. It is facts. That's the brutal facts. And if you don't do it, the state of wherever you live at, they got a whole bunch of facilities waiting to train your children for you. Okay? So that's a pet peeve of mine because I've heard that quite a bit from people. Well, I don't have this, I don't have that. Or you got a husband, so what? Our circumstances are different. Our circumstances are different. We have to deal with the cards that we're dealt. Whatever you are working with, you have to make it work within your parameters, okay? Same thing with your notary business. You can't be like, well, if only I didn't work full time. Well, if only I didn't this. Well, if only. If was a fifth, we all have one. That's what my sister said. Now, I think that's one of those things, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. My point being is, don't make excuses and don't compare. You cannot compare your life to my life. I've been doing this longer than you. If you had started when I started, your life might look different, right? But you know about the business where you are today. Take in what you can do with it today. Don't go by what the old YouTube videos used to say, okay? I have some out there too, old videos where I made $150 an hour, $200, not even an hour, because again, these jobs don't take that long. But today, wherever you are watching this video, it is not too late for you. It's not. That's my point. I had some ice cream, so I'm having some little issue here. Yeah, I know I shouldn't have had that ice cream, but I had it. It was good. I had Jeff got all these open bottles of water. I hate the drink behind him. It's just mental. Let me look in it, y'all. Make sure ain't nothing in it. Hey, Notary fam, it's Kimmy. I am here to let you know, just in case you have not heard about the Notary Business Coaching Success Program. We meet weekly. We talk about your notarial duties, how to do an acknowledgement, how to do a jurat, how to administer an oath. everything you've been asking for. And guess what else is included? Unlimited access to all of my trainings that will also include ink fingerprinting, trust/estate documents. Learn how to properly execute a trust. Don't forget, we also have the private community, like-minded notaries who have been trained by me. Check out my book that I've written for each state, How to Start Your Notary Business in Alabama, California. You get the point. Wherever you're located, there's a book for your state. Well, hopefully I'll see you soon over in training. Notary Educators, LLC. We got you covered. Bye. It's just mental. I need some water. And I didn't bring my water bottle. But my point is, don't try to compare what everybody else is doing. Again, if you try to compare your notary signing agent career today to what it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you'll never do the business. And if somebody gonna come right today and start, they gonna blow up, and you gonna still be sitting on the sidelines another 10 years from now saying, oh, I wish I shoulda, woulda, coulda. No, wherever you are right now is the time for you to start your business. It's just facts. It's just facts. It's not going to change. It may get better. It may not. But one doggone thing for sure is signings are still happening every day. Every day. And I get some people in our group and they're like, oh, I'm not getting any signings. Not today, honey. But you'll get some. Be patient. You just started. You don't even know what you're doing. And now we got a person yesterday, he had 4 this week. He had a point, he said, hey, I need to get my work to somebody next week. I can't help him because it's out of my travel zone, and I'm not even going to act like I'm going out there. So, all right, Lisa says, yeah, I love that, Lisa. Thank you for sharing that too. Lori says, I love my journal. It has been so helpful. I know, girl. Thank you, Lori. I love these journals. If you've not seen them, I even have a pretty purple one. I didn't pull all of them out today, but there are 10 to choose from, and they all come in paperback and hard copy. Okay, Buddy Lee, let's see what you're talking about. So I'm not trying to beat you up about wherever you are in life, you know, or guilt you or pressure you or whatever, but I'm just really speaking facts. Life is going to go on if you do this thing or not. You know? 5 years from now, you still going to be like, oh, I wish I coulda, shoulda, woulda. You know? No, your business is, imagine where if you start today, even if you're not about the business for 10 years, you ain't do nothing with it. You've had your commission for 4 or 5 years. You've not done anything with it. Start today. This time next year, boom, where you going to be at? Matter of fact, this time in 90 days, where can you be at? Let's just keep it really real. What they say, let's keep it a buck. All right, Buddy Lee says, how does someone do apostilles if they have to work Monday through Friday during secretary hours? Yes, that's an excellent question. I just went over this in mentorship yesterday. In the event that you cannot go, Buddy, you might have to hire a courier to go for you. So you price your business in such a way that when you price it for your job to your client, just factor in, hey, I might have to hire a courier. Or in my case, I wouldn't maybe increase my client's fee. I'm going to do all the processing part, and I'll just pay somebody, a little bit to take it down there for me, $50, $75, depending on where they're located. Because I might do it for $50 or $75, but in another state like California, your courier is probably going to cost you more than that. So this depends on where you're located, how far that person is. And if you can't, so let's go back a little bit. And I do cover this in the apostille training. Okay, just FYI, buddy. And I have many videos here on the channel free about apostilles. But also you can network with other people. So for example, if I needed an apostille courier in, let's just say, Alabama, right? And I don't want to take the long process of sending it to Alabama, and I really want somebody boots on the ground to walk it in there for me. I'm going to go to Google and find a 5-star notary, or we have the Notary Educators Facebook group also, which is free. Or I'll start in my own group and say, hey, anybody living near the Secretary of State, I need somebody to take something down there for me. So I don't typically like to trust the filling out of the forms to anyone else because I'm a little OCD. I like to fill out my own forms. Okay. So I'm going to fill out my own request forms, and I'm just going to hire somebody to take it in there for me. So that's not a big deal. Again, remember, we're looking for solutions to problems, okay? There are going to be plenty of problems, plenty of obstacles as you do your notary business, but I only deal in solutions. What can I do to get this happen, to make it happen for my client? And sometimes my husband don't like that because I'm from Detroit, and a lot of times in Detroit, people have that kind of, what's the word? People in Detroit can get a bad rep for being hustlers in a bad way, right? You say, make it happen, like by any means necessary. I'm not hustling in a bad way, but I do mean what I say. When I say I'm going to make it happen, I'm going to make it happen. I don't know how I'm going to make it happen, but I'm going to make it happen. And that's just who I am. What they say, built for a tough, woo woo. Okay, my daddy was Ford Motor. We bled Ford Motor in my house. So Ford Motor people, we don't just be like, yeah, whatever. I can't. No. Oh, no, it's too hard. Oh, no, bump that. What do we have to do to make it happen? Okay, that's just who I am. That's how I roll. That's how we roll. Okay? So, yes, you can just find somebody to take it for you. Okay? Lisa says it takes her 10 minutes to do a loan modification. Hit the like button for me, people. Hit the like button for me. I always forget that. Hit the like button if you're not a subscriber. You know you need to, because I'll be dropping gems. Dropping those gems. So, yeah, Lisa said it takes 10 minutes to do a loan modification. So she's right. So $40 in 10 minutes. How many of you make $40 in 10 minutes legally? How many? Like, for real, though. How long did it take you to make $40 at your job? Let me know. Let me know. And let's have some frank conversation. Put it in the chat. How long does it take you to make $40 at your job? Now, I'll tell you, when I worked at the hospital, it took me 2 hours. Yeah, I made 20. If I worked overtime or like shift diff, if you know. When I worked after 3, I made like another $3 per hour. So I love evenings and weekends. Okay, Sundays was even more. Okay, Friday after 11, all day Saturday and Sunday was shift diff. And if you work Saturday and Sunday after certain hours, it was even more money. So you know who worked all weekends, right? I loved working the weekends because it was more money. I still didn't make $30 an hour out of all that extra I did. Still didn't make it. I still did not make $30 an hour. So when you talk about $40 for a loan signing, a loan mod that only takes 10 minutes, heck yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it twice on Sunday. Send me yours if you don't want it. Not really, guys, because I got enough work on my own, because people do try to send me work. I'm like, no, don't take a job thinking I can do it. I've had that happen a lot. I had that happen like 3 times last week. Literally. Somebody in the group did it. Somebody on Facebook did it. Somebody on Instagram. Like, for real. They took a job and they said, I'll give it to Kimmi. No, you cannot do that. I have my own jobs. Even I don't just hand out work. I'm like, hey, are you available? We need to have a conversation first, because you don't know my schedule. I have my own jobs. I have my own notary business. In case you did not know, it's not just Notary Educators. I have None Better Notary. It's my actual notary business, and I work that business. Those are real reviews, real everything on that. So you cannot take an assignment and just say, oh, let me call Kimmi. It does not work like that, okay? Lori W says, you good, Lisa? I got to hit that yes button more. Yes, and that's part of the problem too. Let's talk about what Lori is talking about. So Lori, we teach this in class too. You have to be fast. If you really want to get these assignments, you can't be like, well, I think I want to work maybe tomorrow. Maybe I'll take it. How far is it? By the time you do all that, and by the time you reach out, sometimes our members will reach out and say, hey, what kind of signing is ... Should I take this? By the time you do all that, that signing is gone. So the way we teach you is to notarize. You can notarize anything. We teach you how to do it properly, right? Notarize like a pro. Bottom of the shirt. Check it out. Notarize like a pro. So it don't matter what kind of signing it is. It matters if you want to make that money or not. So by the time you ask all these questions, the job is gone. Okay? Sharon says, so Tammy says, yes, I do. I think it's putting myself out there to get signings. Okay, so if you know how to notarize, what is the holdup? Why are you afraid to put yourself out there, Tammy? Why? If you already know how to properly notarize documents, you say you know how to do loan signings, what's the holdup? Are you afraid of money? Are you afraid of winning? And I'm not being funny when I say that. I'm not. A lot of times our family members or friends and everybody are like, girl, you gonna go do what? You can't make no money as a notary. So you're hearing that in the back of your head. You're hearing the chatter. You're watching YouTube people saying, oh, you gotta print. You're in Facebook groups and they're saying all this printing, all this, all this, that. And by the time you finish, you talk yourself out your money and everybody else making theirs. It's the funniest thing. I watch people on YouTube and they're telling you, oh, it's too late to be a loan signing agent. The market's saturated. Oh, it's too much for you. But yet they do it. They signings. I did 100 this month. I did 80 this month. I'm sitting there like, well, why are you telling them they can't do it? That don't sound nice, right? Right? How would that look for me to tell you you can't do it, but I can do it? That's like, I got something you can't have. I got something you can't. No, that's childish. That doesn't even make sense. That does not make sense. So sometimes we got to do our own reasoning as adults, okay? And that's another fact, another gem, another fact, whatever word you want to put there. People will tell you not to do something and they over there doing it. They like, girl, don't date him because he's such and such and such and such and such and such. And then 6 months from now, guess who she's marrying? You ever seen that happen before? Girl, he don't have this. Girl, he ain't that. Girl. And then what happens? He wasn't good enough for you. He wasn't good enough for you. But somehow, all of a sudden, he's good enough for her. One of those things that make you go, right? So watch who you watch on YouTube. If it's so bad, why are you still doing the business? Right? If the signing companies are so terrible, why are you still doing the business? Kind of one of those things that make you go, yeah, why they say that? So we got to start making our own decisions, people. We have to. We have got to start making our own decisions. It cannot just be, well, such and such said, they did it. They said, everyone says, who is everybody? We just had that conversation jokingly the other day. And my friend was like, in her household, if you said everybody, her mother was like, I don't care what everybody doing. Most of us grew up like that. It's like, well, everybody, or, they said, who is they? What? So why aren't you putting yourself out there? Sharon says these companies are definitely lowballing, though. They just asked me to do a HUD partial play for $30. Print 2 signature sets and 1 borrow copy, and scan backs required. Did you counter, Sharon? Just because they tell you $30, that don't mean you got to take it. Now, I'll say this. If you counter, you have to be prepared that they have found someone who will do it for $30. Okay? And then, Sharon, I'll push back again right now because I know you're still a little newer. That's that milk. Are you making $30 in 10 minutes at your job? I mean, that's just facts. And people say, well, I got to still print 40 pieces of paper. Yeah, you get 500 of them for $5 or $7. So what? You got to print 40. What, 2 cents a sheet? Let's think. We got to think big picture. So did you counter offer, Sharon? Because, we do go over that in training. I know you're part of mentorship. Did you counter offer on that one? Let me know. Rashante says, I passed my test in North Carolina last week with a 94. Get it, Rashante. I'm sending my application off this week. Congratulations. Yes, that's big news. But Elise says, thanks. You're so welcome. Rashante says, as soon as I get commission, I will be signing up for the training. We'd love to have you. Lori W says, yep. And Lisa says, usually counter 70 each time. And Lisa has been successful. But why is Lisa successful at countering almost double what they're asking? Because Lisa knows her stuff. Okay? Lisa knows her stuff. And I know she knows her stuff because she trained with Notary Educators. How about that? Okay? I know Lisa knows her stuff. So she can ask for that. And the companies know that too. They will pay Lisa 70 where they're not going to pay Joe Blow 70 because they don't even know Joe Blow can do the job. They don't. So they pay Joe Blow 30, knowing that they're going to have to call Lisa to go back out there and fix it. They got to. They're going to have to call Kimberly to go back out there and fix it. So they can't afford to pay Joe Blow 30, Susie 30, and they got to come back around and get me to do it, because the average notary that go out there don't know what they're doing. I work for several companies that just recently sent out exact training, step by step what to do. And by the time I read all that, I'm like, I don't want to do your job because you just stressed me out. Okay? I don't know what to do. But I realized, you know what, Kimmy, it's not for you. It's for the people that don't know what they're doing. And they're trying to fake it till they make it. And they just getting these assignments and jacking stuff up. Even if they give you assignments step by step, people still don't follow them, because why? They don't know why they're doing it. They don't know why they're doing it. If I give you instructions or recipe to do a cake, you ain't never baked a cake before, and you said put in 3 eggs, put in a half a cup of water, put in a half a cup of oil, some of you will follow the instructions, but the majority of you will not. Now, if I go back and say, well, you need the 3 eggs in order to help the cake do ABC, then that's going to make more sense to you. Then you'll follow the instructions, right? Or the next one might be, why do I need to put this water in there? Well, it's going to make the cake do ABC. Then that's going to make more sense to you. Same thing with loan signings. They could put all these instructions in there all day. People still ain't following the instructions. One of our students the other day, he had to go out and do a redo because somebody had the wrong witness. Okay, that's happened several times because they don't have training. The notary cannot be the witness and everything in the same. Some states, okay? Some states it can't be a family member. Some signers it can't be a family member. You got to know all these little intricate details in order to be successful, in order to notarize like a pro, okay? Notarize like a pro. So if you don't know how to be a signing agent, again, check out Become a Signing Agent. It's not that complicated. The book or the course. Okay, several ways you can get that. Everything is at NotaryEducatorsLLC.com. Everything is at NotaryEducatorsLLC.com. Sharon's laughing. Lori says we need to know our value, and that's true. But to Lori's point, though, you gotta have the value. Okay, you gotta have the value. You gotta have the value. You got my sister trying to call me. We getting ready to go walking for a minute. What is your value, though? Do you know what you're doing? Do you know what you're doing? If you don't know what you're doing, you don't have no value. You don't be asking these people for $70 because you don't even know what you're doing, okay? Because you're going to go out there and mess it up, and they're going to have to hire somebody else to go out there. Now, if you know what you're doing, like Lisa does, I know she knows, Lori knows, okay? These are people I know. I can call and say, hey, can you go do the signing for me? I trust them. I don't even call anybody just to do my signings. Okay, I do not. I'm very particular. Very particular. And I did refer some work out recently, and the person I referred it to did not know that the family member shouldn't be a witness. So I had to redo that for free. I think I told y'all about that last week. So it's all good. Everybody makes mistakes. Sharon says, no, she did not counter. I was just sharing, but they need during my work hours. Yeah, so when you're sharing that, though, Sharon, that's my point. So we need to share everything. That's why I asked you the question. Always a question. Always a question. So Sharon shared that, yes, the numbers are low. But Lisa also shared that she get her $70 per signing. And again, I know Lisa knows what she's doing. So Sharon did not counter. Okay, so you got to factor that in. And again, just because they tell you 30, 40, whatever, if that's not what you're feeling, don't do it. You have to learn how to counter. And countering often comes with confidence and knowing that you know what you're doing. And that brings us back to Lori's point, knowing your worth. You know your worth when you know your stuff. If you don't know your stuff, you already know you ain't worth nothing, right? Or enough to be asking for double the money. How about that? Not nothing, because we all bring some value to the table. Just having a physical body in the room sometimes is better than not having nothing. But then, is it really, if they send you out there, you don't know what you're doing, you're messing it up, and they got to hire 2 more people to come back behind you? I'm gonna have to change that. Because it's not good. Sometimes it's good to say, well, I just got somebody standing there. Prime example, we were somewhere recently at Chick-fil-A. Somebody called in that day. This is so funny. Somebody called in for work. They had 2 people working. So the third person called in. So we were at a travel center. So the lady that works in the travel center came over to Chick-fil-A to help them out. It was such a backup. Typically, customer service at Chick-fil-A and the line goes like boom, 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 boom. No wait, right? No wait, no hassle, no nothing. Oh, this was hilarious. So I go over to the Starbucks and get me a coffee. And I'm expecting Jeffrey to hurry up because he's just getting a sandwich, right? We already had something else. He's grabbing a sandwich. I'm like, he should be here in a second. 20 minutes goes by. 30 minutes goes by. And I'm like, what's going on over there? So I didn't say nothing. I just went and sat down. I played with my coffee. I went and heated it up because I like it scorching hot. It gets lukewarm when you put the creamer in there, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm waiting on him. So he come over. He was like, you would not believe. I said, what happened? He said, the lady that was just helping me, she actually worked for the service center here with the travel plaza. And in addition to that, she didn't know the menu. She didn't have her reading glasses. She was not prepared. She couldn't even read. She couldn't even read the menu. I'm not laughing at that, but I got to have my glasses all the time. So I couldn't even imagine trying to read a Chick-fil-A menu. One, you don't even know the menu. You don't know the menu. You don't have your reading glasses. And it was just a hot mess. Now, A for effort that she was there. She was a physical body. But could she have actually been slowing them down because she don't know nothing? Probably. It might have been quicker if one person in the back making the sandwiches, one person in the front doing them, they hop off and do the drinks. I said, I wish I hadn't been running that Chick-fil-A because this show would have been ran a little bit differently. Okay. So let's go to Martha says, hey, Kimmi, thanks for the information. I'm in the process of getting my notary. Congratulations, Martha. Check us out when you get your commission. If you need some training, be our pleasure. Sharon says, I've been getting notified, but all during my work hours. Most want to have done early in the morning. And that's okay, Sharon. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So if that's the case, you already know your work schedule does not permit you to do loan signings in the afternoon or the morning because you're at your 9 to 5. What are you doing on the weekends? Is your Google page ready? Do you want to work on the weekends? You know what I'm saying? You have to, now sometimes we just have to have a full come to Jesus meeting with ourselves. I cannot do ABC. Martha says, yes, I sure will. Thank you. You're welcome, Martha. So for example, okay, I can't get no more realer than this one. I personally work like 11 to 9. I know for a fact that there are general notary work happening between the hours of 11 at night to 7 in the morning. Let's just say 11 at night to 11 the next day, because I told you I don't like to start till 11, right? So I do get calls between 8 and 11, but typically I don't prefer to start that early. I'll be like, hey, can we do it at 1 or can we do it at 11? I had one guy call me and he was like, hey, I need a signing. I need to get my child's whatever done at 8 o'clock in the morning. I said, by the time I did all that, he was like, oh, typically you don't work that early, huh? I said, no, I don't. But your girl is a night person, so I do like 11 to 9. Like I said, those are my hours where I'm functioning. Now, my actual hours on my Google page are actually 9 to 8 is my actual hours, 9 to 8. However, if you call me, you need something at 9 o'clock tonight, come on by, right? By appointment only. Don't just knock on my door. By appointment only, or Gwinnett County will meet you out here, right? But all that being said is I already know, yes, there are signings and notary jobs happening between 11 and 11, but that's not when I can work. That's not when I want to work. That's not when I'm going to work. Okay. I'm not going out of my house at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm not going out of my house at 3 o'clock in the morning. So those schedules will not work for me. That is money that I know I'm leaving on the table. If I was truly 24 hours, I'd be laying in the bed at night. Boom, 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 right? But I'm not working that. So I already know I'm not working that. So I cannot get those jobs. My Google page does not say 24 hours. Some people put that as a gimmick. Okay? I don't do that. I put exactly what I'm working. I'm open from 9 to 8. 9 to 8. Okay? And after 8 by appointment only. Everything's by appointment only, but really appointment only after 8. Right? So my point being is, don't worry about what you cannot do. Focus on what you can do. Does that mean for you, Lori, in your case, not Lori, Sharon, in your case, that you're going to work on the weekends? Maybe all day Saturday, all day Sunday. half a day Saturday, half a day Sunday, in the evenings. You have to figure out what you can do and not focus so much on what you can't do. And that's just facts. If you cannot work anything between 9 and 5, you sitting there every day like, here go a sign and I can't take it. 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 What is that? Is that putting money in your pocket? Mm-mm. Now, what can I do to get money in my pocket? That's look at my schedule. As Lisa stated earlier, I know I can work all day Saturday. Boom. I know I can work all day Sunday. Boom. Okay? And these are times and stuff that other people aren't working. You got some notaries that ain't working on the weekends. I have a friend of mine, they do not work Saturdays and Sundays. I'm like, hey, can you get this signing for me? No, we do not work on the weekend. And they are very clear about that. They are very clear. I'm getting hot. Sharon, you got me all worked up. Yeah, they're clear. They don't work on the weekends. So get some clarity and see what it is you can do. You know, again, I'm not about I can't. This don't work for me. My schedule. I got these kids. I got the da. Okay, yeah, you got all that going on, but what can you do? We all get the same amount of hours per day. The same amount of hours per day. So you have to figure out what is it that Sharon can do in her life that works with her schedule, that works with her full-time job. Kimmi has to figure out what works with this, and this. So for me, in order to make my money, to make my numbers work, I already know if somebody called me at 8 o'clock, I'm working at night. Somebody else don't work after 5 o'clock. That's good for me. The people that don't work after 5 and don't work on the evenings and weekends, that's good for you, Sharon. So you got to look at it like that. Is the glass half full? Is it empty? What is it? You know, and again, get some clarity. What do you want to do? And sometimes I find that once you finally have a come to Jesus moment with yourself and be like, you know what? I cannot do such and such. Be clear with that. I already know I ain't working overnight. Am I leaving money on the table? Yes. But it is what it is because I'm just not working that. I don't work before 8 o'clock. Am I leaving money on the table? Yes, because why? People have to get something notarized right before they go to work and they ain't do it the day before. It is what it is. Like real talk. So, you know, again, I'm a problem solver and that's why I do what I do. I'm an educator. It takes time to educate. I'm an educator. It takes time to teach you to do it the right way. I don't just say go do ABC. No. A lot of times in chat I could be like, yes, no. No. You need to know why you're doing it. I'm educating. Education takes longer. You have some parents that tell their kids, no, you can't do that. I was always a child like, why? I'm like, why can't I do it? I need a reason. Don't just tell me don't touch the hot stove. Why? I mean, I need to know why. Just don't do it is not a reason. If you tell somebody don't do something, they typically don't want to do it because they don't know why. Now you take a few extra minutes, which usually only take a few extra minutes to explain the real reason why someone shouldn't do something, right? Don't touch the stove because it's hot. It will burn you. Your skin will melt. You will get dark keloids or it'll hurt. You have to go to the hospital. That takes a little bit longer than don't touch the hot stove because I said so. Right? So that's how we educate. And that's why I chose the name Notary Educators. It wasn't going to be something cool, something fancy. We're about notary education, like for real. I want you to know what you're doing, why you're doing it. Okay? And that's how you're going to be successful. Sharon says, yes, my page is up and ready for the weekends. Great. So put out some of the vocabulary, Sharon, about the weekdays and what's even happening there, because is that really facts? Yeah, they offer 30, but if you was able to go do the job, could you ask for 70 and they give it to you? Maybe, but you're not even in a position to take it. So that's why I want you to just kind of clear that head space. Don't focus on what you cannot do. You know, don't. I want to wear size 5. That's not going to happen right now. So I got to focus on finding the sharpest, the cutest outfit that's going to make this body right here, this size, this everything look good. Okay? And that's just fact. Matter of fact, I picked up something in Ross last week. Oh, y'all, it was so cute. It was a red jumper. It was like for a fancy event. Kind of glittery. It was so cute. Little collar around the neck. Oh, it was so cute. And I looked at it, it was a size 8. I cannot wear a size 8. So I'm looking at it, and I looked at it for 2 seconds, and I was like, dang, I wish I could wear this. But I cannot. So I put it back and went to my size. If I saw it in my size, great. Now I could try to work with that. But I could not wear that. You know, sometimes people will hide smaller sizes within the larger sizes so nobody won't get their outfit. And that's what happened there. Yeah, they'll hide it. I've seen that before. Or vice versa. Somebody hide a bigger something in a smaller section so they can go back and get it. That's a little tip too. So anyway, I was like, why is this here? So Lori W says, and that's good, Sharon. You have your page ready and up and running, okay? So let's focus on that weekend work. Lori W says, I'm learning to counter the hours as well. If they say 4, I will counter at 6 or later. I may just get lucky. And that's true to Lori's point. Those later hours, that's an excellent tip. Those later hours, like if a signing is scheduled to happen at 4, typically, they're not expecting those documents back same day because they already know you got to scan it back, take it to FedEx, take it to UPS. So they're typically looking for those the next day. Now, not all of them, because at 4 o'clock signing, sometimes they will tell you, hey, we need everything back within an hour, and don't accept the job if you cannot. Because they're trying to get the documents back so they can close on the property the next day. So that has happened to me too. I had one recently where they just took the scan bags as proof of the signing so they can close the next day, and my documents were not going to be shipped until the next day. So they're not always looking for the original document, and that's why scan backs are so important. Okay, well, I gotta get ready to get out of here. That's why scan backs are so important. So this is another tip we're going to expound on in just a second longer with Lori's tip, and that's if the signing is scheduled for like 5 or 4, see can you schedule a little bit later when you do get off work, because a lot of times they will accept that, because by this point they typically haven't found anyone to do it. So they know, hey, we're not going to get it back, but we'll work with the scan backs. So yes, that's an excellent idea, is to counter the time also. Not just the money, but counter the time also. So again, I'm going to leave you with, check out my new book, Become a Notary Signing Agent. And guess what, guys? It ain't that complicated. Also, check out the new journals and all things notary at NotaryEducatorsLLC.com, okay? Boom. Check out all things notary, NotaryEducatorsLLC.com. Lori, Lisa, thank you guys for those tips. Sharing you too. I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys in mentorship. If you're not in mentorship, again, all things notary, NotaryEducatorsLLC.com. I must run, but I will be back, okay? Until next time, bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Notary Educators with Kimmi podcast. We hope you found today's episode helpful and inspiring as you build your notary business. Don't forget to explore our all-inclusive $47 monthly training notary library for more resources to expand your skills and services. Stay connected with us on YouTube at Notary Educators with Kimmi for even more tips, tricks, and industry insights. Be sure to subscribe and share this podcast with others who want to succeed in the notary field. Until next time, keep growing and learning, and take your notary business to the next level. See you soon! Don't forget, for all things notary related, visit NotaryEducatorsLLC.com.